Jimmy's Jam Box. Keep jamming. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode. Jimmy's Jam Box. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Mellow Mint. A bright and refreshing blend of Pacific Northwest grown peppermint and spearmint, paired with high-quality CBD hemp that's not only delicious, but helpful with digestion. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. The holidays might be over, but they're still here. Make sure to click the link below. Go pick up some stuff. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up? I'm Lord Lawrence, and happy to be here.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course.
You know, just for the, you've been on the show before, super
Yes.
glad to have you back, but give us the quick rundown of just kind of where you're from and what you do.
From Portland, Oregon. I make music. I've been making all kinds of music for a long time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Just try to stay positive, have a good time, and support the community, you know?
Hell yeah. And when did you get started initially with music?
I was like, I want to say 14, 15. Started playing in like bands, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. What instrument did you play?
I did drums first, and then my first actual show ever, I was in two bands, and one I did drums for, and the other I did vocals for.
Okay.
And that, I really liked that. I really liked doing vocals, so it was like, you know.
That was the moment.
Yeah, I was like, I'm probably going to dabble in that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Who were some of your like early influences when you like first got into music? Like who are the people that you were like, I'm doing this and I want to do it like them?
Oh, man, dude. I mean, I have to say Slipknot. I have to. Mm-hmm. I just have to.
Yeah.
I'll feel so weird if I don't. But I mean, at the time when I was like, I want to be in a band, I want to do this. I think A Day to Remember was like heavy influence on me. Yeah.
Hell yeah. I could dig that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then, I know we've asked these last time, but these are just too fun not to ask.
I love it.
We're going to keep them true to form. And this first one is one we ask early. It's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
So, it was Avril Lavigne, and it was also, I believe it was a Slipknot 9.0 live album, which I got the 5-finger discount for.
Oh, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Shout out, I think it was called, what was it called? FYI? It was like a music store in Vancouver Mall a while ago. But yeah, that and the banger of an album that Avril Lavigne had put out, just the contrast of that was,
yeah. I
think that shaped me.
That album was a like low-key iconic album.
Yeah, dude, and it still holds up.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Hell yeah.
Yep.
And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? Actually, you know, I want to put a twist on this because I'm sure we've asked you this.
Okay.
What was a live show that like actively inspired what you do today?
Oh. There was probably The Effort. It was a straight edge hardcore band. I saw them play what was Moxie's in downtown Vancouver. It was like a soda shop way back when. Everything about that show and that band had like heavy influence on me, like in every way, dude. Just how I wanted to perform, like the energy, the raw energy, like learning what straight edge was, getting into punk hardcore, like all of that. It was heavy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then to round out the beginning bits, because we're going to zoom through this just so we can get to there's so many things that we want to get into currently. What was the moment where you decided music was more than just like the thing to do?
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It's a tough one because, I mean, it had to be the first show. that I played. 'Cause it was a garage show. It was super cool. Played back-to-back sets. That was probably it for me, where I was like, all right, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life, you know, and that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, it was just really cool. I remember like walking out after the second set and just like being by myself and collecting myself. And then it's so corny, just like looking up and being like, yeah, you know, yeah. Like it all made sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I could definitely resonate with that. Also, there's just something really eye-opening about music once you've performed it for other people.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do by yourself. Like,
yeah, and it was like moshie music. So you like really get a visual representation of like how they're feeling it.
Yeah. They let you know.
Yeah.
They let you know right away.
That was really sick too. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get on into you as the current day artist. We're going to talk about the here and now.
Okay.
We've got one more question that I'm sure we've asked before, but for the people who've never heard the audio episode only, or the audio only episode.
Right, rare.
How did you pick your name?
So Lawrence is my biological last name.
Mm-hmm.
I went to foster care when I was 9, got adopted when I was 11, and when the adoption happened, they told me that if I took their last name, I could pick my own middle name. Mm-hmm. So it ended up being Skater, and then Lawrence was just like kind of dead and gone. Mm-hmm. For a long time, Lawrence was like a negative reminder. It was kind of like just like a representation of my past and you know, dark things that I went through when I was younger. And so when I was coming up with an artist name, I wanted to give it power and kind of like own it and make it my own. So I went with Lawrence at first, and then there's an incredible, amazing band called Lawrence, and that got really annoying. And so ended up adding Lord to it just for a little steeze, you know, and it has a ring to it, Lord Lawrence. So that's where it came from.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I heard that answer last. I'm sure I would have asked you that, but I feel like I didn't know that.
Maybe. I like made sure I didn't re-listen to the audio.
Okay, yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if I have different answers.
Yeah, actually, somebody go A and B these after. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, let's see.
But hell yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right, now, usually this is the point in time where we get into your writing process.
Yeah.
But we've definitely gone over that. So we're going to switch it up. We're going to talk about this year.
Yeah.
Because this was a big year for you. You did a lot.
Yeah, it was busy.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to talk about, like, you know, first of all, you did a bunch of touring. Mm-hmm. Kind of give us just the gist of it, what you can share from your experiences, you know, things you did do, things you wouldn't do. Like, just kind of tell us about the whole experience and some highlights from it.
Yeah, so I did a lot of mini tours.
Yeah.
I like to, you know, call them that because, you know, I've known and seen real tours. You know, I'm not naive to that. I know they're 30-day long, you know, they go to different countries and all that. So I call them my little mini tours.
Yeah.
Primarily booked that way because I am a stay-at-home dad. Mm-hmm. So in order to be with my kids Monday through Friday, maybe I can get a Thursday or Friday off, and then I aim for the weekend. So there's, you know, a 4 or 5 day stretch of a mini tour.
Yeah.
Book it that way, back Monday, back with the kids, boom. It's a lot that happens in those 4 days. It's, you know, it's just straight back to back. Oftentimes, you know, city to city, we're either 14 hours, 7 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah.
But that being said, it allows me to be back home and with the little ones. Yeah. Plus, when you're at a level that I'm at, people don't want to come see you on Tuesday if they don't know you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So it's a lot easier to really kind of milk the weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's we did multiple of those. I believe we did four or five of those this year. All with, I think, other than Wavy Davy, shout out Wavy. Other than Wavy, I think it was all a mix of different artists, different people. And that was really cool too, because, you know, we got to touch roads, see different cities, do what we love with artists that I admire and already respect from the city, and then to be able to like have that bonding experience. And it was
How many different states did you go to?
We did a lot of repeat states.
Yeah.
Let's see. We did Arizona, Utah, California. Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon,
Washington.
Did you make it over to Idaho at all?
We did Idaho.
Okay. I assume you didn't make it to like New Mexico.
Nope. Stop before New Mexico. Yeah, just kind of like the
I mean, that's still sick.
areas we can touch. Yeah,
It's not a small amount of states. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even if you kind of planned it to where like, you know, your next ones are a little bit further out past that, where like you like drove back kind of thing. Like it's not impossible to do.
Yeah. 100%. And the whole slowly branching out, and then also wanting to, because the big thing that I wanted to do was also like revisit those areas within like a decent amount of time. So, you know, first time touching a new city, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
You know, you try to be as respectful and, you know, professional as possible.
Yeah.
Leave a good impression, you know.
Make them want you back.
Yeah. Express your gratitude and just like have a good time, you know, and just be there.
I can attest KZ definitely made a point about you for that specifically. You know, shout out KZ and Seattle Drum School.
Oh, I love it there.
That was definitely a point she made. She was like, man, you know, even with like my feelings on this or that, Lawrence in particular was always really, really awesome. So that's just a testament to proof that you do that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like, now when we come back, like we've already established a relationship.
Yeah.
And it's just so much easier.
Yeah.
You know, because like, they see who I am, they see how I operate, and then when we come back, it's like, we don't have to do that part again. We don't have to do, you know, the stepping on toes or like, you know, like we can just relax.
Yeah, you've already started the dialogue.
Yeah, and then oftentimes the promoter will want to themselves put in more effort to promote the show because they believe in you. They liked what they saw. They liked your act, you know.
Yeah, they remembered you.
Yeah, and so revisiting some of those places was something that I wanted to make sure we did, and we were able to do that a few times too, which was really, really cool that we were able to like reinstill that relationship and, you know, kind of just solidify everything.
Yeah. I do appreciate too that for most of them, you seem to finish up in Portland every time.
Oh yeah.
That seemed like a really cool, like you always brought it back home.
It's guaranteed going to be a good show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's always nice to end on a
tour strong, but also, just, you know, it's cool that you feel it worth the time to circle back.
Yeah.
Like a home show at the end of a long tour, that can be one where you're like, you know, everybody's seeing me, everybody know. Like you could choose not to do it for the same reasons. You know what I mean? Like nobody needs a Lawrence show.
And you're like already tired.
Already done it, but
you know your bed's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
So like it's cool that you still choose to.
Yeah, man, you got to. Yeah.
And, you know, one thing I had said, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before on your episode, but a good mentality somebody shared with me as far as touring approaches go is that you should play home, away over a 3-month window. So instead of going and doing a million things all the time, especially with where you're at now, I think this would be more beneficial to utilize that time to kind of epicenter in certain spots and go a little bit further out.
Yeah.
To put a little bit of window between that so that it creates a little more desirability.
Yeah, 100%. That is something that it was not necessarily something I didn't accept.
Yeah.
I just didn't follow. You know what I mean?
The approach that you took this year makes sense. Like I'm not saying that when I said that before you should have done that then, more just revisiting the concept is that now that you've established those roots, the best way to grow them is to revisit 100%. Them, but to put the space. Also, you know, there's no real rule on how many you can play, you know what I mean?
Well, I think my last show for the next at least 6 months, my last show is this will already be out by then, but I'm playing on December 14th in Seattle. And
Barboza?
Yeah, Barboza. Yeah, which I'm really, really excited about. Yeah, I love Numos. I'm excited to see how the Barboza compares to, because I think it's in the basement of that venue.
You know, I'm not sure offhand, but I remember Jameson saying really cool things about it. So I'm super
shout
excited.
Out Born Dead.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I'm super pumped on that show, and I think that it's like really special that somewhere that I have played so many times in this last year is going to be like the last show. It's still going to feel like home though. You know what I mean? It's really cool in that sense.
Seattle and Portland, I think musically we've got a lot of like shared experiences. Yeah. I mean, shoot, the show's traveled up there twice. Yeah. Just on its own. You know what I mean?
100%.
So
yeah.
I like to think that Seattle's music scene is like the Portland neighbor. You know what I mean? Like realistically, that Metro Portland, we'll say that includes kind of Vancouver as well, you know?
Yeah.
So like that general space and their general space, I think they're just so close relatively that it's it's definitely shareable.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I got pretty lucky to be able to find people that had a like-minded approach in that sense. Jameson, Born Dead, all the MVFL people, Pounding the Nail, Jimmy.
And Jimmy. Yeah, Pounding the Nail.
I think just that whole like DIY like community. It's really fucking cool.
There's like a really dense scene up there too, like as far as like the experience goes. I mean, like Animal House and everything like that, like that whole, there's a whole world that kind of exists inside of it.
It's amazing, man. It's really, really, really cool.
So it's cool to see what they do, and it's fun even as I interacted with them. It's really interesting to just see that there's a real laser focus in that space. And that's fun to see that it's growing.
100%.
And then just to kind of round up the focus on the tour stuff, what were some things you learned? Like, what things would you have done differently? What things did you like enjoy and would for sure do again? What are just some like tips and knowledge you can share?
I know where I want to be with them. I know that it's not likely right now because, you know, as I've explained, the whole like being stay-at-home dad, having to do it all crammed. I've learned how much that can suck and that there's a lot of cons to it. I don't get to experience the city that I'm in as much as I would like to or want to. Oftentimes it's play, show, sleep, leave early so we can make that elongated drive. So, you know, I know I learned that it sucked as bad as I thought it was going to suck in the sense that like, I want to eat their restaurants. I want to, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be there. I want to indulge. And so moving forward, you know, my goal is to be able to be like, okay, cool. Well, this show is 12 hours away, but we have a day off in between, you know? Things like that. Having the luxury to be able to, like, actually have time to.
Space in there.
That would be, you know, that's kind of like what we're moving towards based off of the every time reminder of how much that sucked. And then, you know, always check for your trailer keys. Double check. Make sure they're not on the wheel of the U-Haul because that's going to be a nightmare for you. Promise that. Stretch. Take some breaks. Bring wet wipes.
Damn, that last one resonates hard.
It's pretty important.
You can get like an 8-pack of them at any fucking place you can go to get stuff. So yeah, definitely pick those up.
100%. And driving shifts. Take breaks, driving shifts.
Man, that's one I wish people stressed a little more. Like, don't make somebody do all the driving. It's not good for anybody if you're all performing. It really just wears.
Help.
I
don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
learned what I learned. You know,
what were some of the things you would do again? I guess let's cover a couple of those.
Things I would do again, or things I'm gonna have to do again. It's gonna have to be crammed and packed. I don't know. I think trusting my gut on who to have be a part of it. I would definitely continue to do that. It has gone amazingly so far. I think booking at certain venues, I would definitely redo. There's people that I built relationships with from these mini tours that, like, without a doubt, I'm like so excited to continue a relationship with them.
Oh yeah. And then, would you ever have any interest in flying to shows?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, I just, like, it didn't really...
Daddy wasn't broke. I mean, you know?
Spirit Airline is offering a season pass for the year. Just something to keep in mind.
Wait, what?
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I think I saw something...
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, they were doing a bit for a little bit where you could, like, spend X amount of dollars and fly anywhere in the year.
Shit.
But they're always doing something... I mean, don't get me wrong, Spirit Airline is... Woof. It's rough.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, I think that's...
Gotta make it work.
Yeah, that's definitely the next move.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then let's look kind of at the year from start to now. What were some of the things that changed about your process?
I think that with ultimately like being so busy playing shows and trying to plan, excuse me. I think with being so busy trying to plan all the shows, keep up with the shows, plan the mini tours, and try to like touch as much ground as possible. I really, for the most part, fell away from writing, which I didn't really miss it till I missed it.
Yeah.
You know, I did stay so busy that I was able to like be excited. And I had put out Settle for Heaven, which was an EP that I did tell myself, like, this entire year, I'm going to beat this into the ground. I'm going to play it. I'm going to tour it. And definitely did that. But now, you know, looking back, I'm like, there's so much time where I could have written or I could have, you know, so that definitely, my approach in that sense has changed, because I used to always be writing, whether it was like recording on my phone, you know, headphones in on the little Volico app, but was always sifting through beats. So yeah, my approach in that sense definitely changed.
Okay, so it was really just performance focused.
Yeah.
Do you find that the focus on performance, though, brought you to kind of like a new height with your like ability to do things in general?
It definitely inspired the new direction of where I want to go with the new sound.
Hell yeah.
I think that it had a heavy influence on me. I mean, me being up there so often, me seeing how things would operate with live drums, me seeing, you know, visuals, what different venues have, you know, whether they have a projector or LED screen, how I want things to look with the new sound. Definitely had a heavy influence on that.
Oh yeah. And then we're going to talk about the new sound in just a moment, but I want to look at how you feel about your current sound. What are some of the things that you enjoy about like the music that you've been performing and presenting this year?
I think that this year, Settle for Heaven, my approach on stage and just the songs, how the crowd was receptive to them, it kind of molded into a pretty like confident energy. Very like, it was very reassuring. So going up there, being up there, that is ultimately where it all ended up, was like, oh, okay, like this is fun. This is a flex. This is, you know, me really feeling figured out. So I think that's like, is that what you said? What's my favorite thing about my current sound?
I mean, like, it being
figured out. That was like, hey, you know, it was so solidified.
That's a very real answer too. And I think that, you know, it's important. I think it's good to know that what you're doing works. Especially if your goal is to move to something next, you know what I mean? Like to change your sound in a way. Because I mean, that track that you put out with Echo, that's definitely got a little bit of a different vibe than everything. And also shout out Echo the Savage.
Love you, Echo.
But like that, you know, that had a little bit of a different approach from you know, the previous stuff. But now, and I'm curious to see if that continues or not, let's talk about what you're looking to do next. I mean, you obviously don't give away anything you don't want to, but like give us the mindset that you're going into it with. Give us the approach that you're going to take. Like let's like, where are you at right now with what you're about to be doing?
Like I said, so a lot of performing made me inevitably think about what I wanted to do on stage, how I wanted things to be presented. And I really just fell in love with the idea of things being theatrical.
How very Panic of the Disco at you.
Yeah. I mean, If Fever You Can't Sweat Out is one of the best albums in the entire world. So, I mean, if you disagree, you're wrong, you know, and we'll talk about that. I don't know. You know what? Another episode, let's just talk about Panic at the Disco, because I'll go 2 hours. Easy.
I can go word for word on the entire I Write Sins Not Tragedy album.
Perfect. Just being theatrical, and I found myself excited about that. So it's like, all right, well, I definitely should run with this, because I feel like I ran, you know, Settle for Heaven into the ground. I tried to milk it for as much as I could. But then I wanted to grow live performance wise as well. And so I'm like,
you definitely have a performer's element to you. Like that seems to be, like, just from, the shows that I've seen of yours, you definitely have that aspect of it. It seems to be where you thrive for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's so much room for improvement in that. That I've been like, as I said, my favorite thing about my current sound right now is like it being solidified. But at the same time, it starts to feel stagnant. It starts to feel
always.
I need challenge. I want to grow. I want to challenge myself. And so with that, I started really falling in love with synthwave type beats. Live drums is a thing that I have at all of my performances. Live drums can be recorded over synthwave beats, so it's gonna have the new sound is gonna be very chrome. You know what I mean? Very kind of like that. So if you're a fan of what I did with Forever Love, it's gonna have elements of that.
Okay.
Not necessarily exactly like that. I still keep some Settle for Heaven rhyme schemes and patterns and cadences that I kind of developed with that. I definitely didn't want to lose those sides of it.
No, for sure.
I honestly think it's like it's so corny, but I honestly think that the new sound is like my favorite aspects out of all the sounds that I've done previously. So I've done the future bass, the pop, the darker synth wave, deep house. This one I kind of just like picked out those elements where I was like, this is what I fucking love about this. This is what I love about this.
Okay.
And hopefully, if all goes well, that'll translate well to the listener.
Hell yeah. Are you expecting it to be like a longer album, or are you still going to kind of...
Oh, no, dude. Solid 6-song EP.
Okay.
Just EP after EP after EP.
Okay. Are you planning to have a few EPs that come out through the year? Or is that just you like your future goal is just to always be putting out EPs?
It's going to be similar. It's going to be the new era EP, where it's like Settle for Heaven had its thing, it had its wave, and I did as much as I could with it. Now we're moving on to this one, and it's going to have its own thing.
Gotcha.
And there will be obvious differences there from performance to, just all over. Even tour approach, things that we bring on the road, stuff like that, being more theatrical. So I fucking love EPs. I love EPs. People always like talk over and over again. I've heard it so many times, like only do singles. And I get it. I do. I sincerely understand like the approach where it's like put out a single.
Yeah. Well, like algorithmically, that's what's supposed to work. But I'm very much the opposite.
I can't do it, man. I love having a concept. I love I get so inspired if I'm writing a
body of work.
And it has a direction, it has a theme. It's like it just keeps it that way. And I have thought about, okay, we'll do that and then release them and singles, but I don't know. I love it. I love EPs.
See, I wouldn't even for me it would I would almost want to do where there was if you went the EP route, I should say, because for me, I'm more of an album guy. I want a 12 track count. That's what I look for. But if I was going to do EPs, I would almost do 2 or 3 EPs in a year with a single in between them. Yeah. That's not on it. The one that was maybe either the throwaway or something that's coming into the summer, you can have that pre-summer jam.
Yeah.
But then that middle EP is all summer jams. Yeah. So people kind of have something to look forward to. So I think stylistically, the EP concept, if it's done a couple times, 2 or 3 times in a year, is almost the most powerful approach.
Yeah.
Because it gives people a little bit more. There's nothing more annoying than hearing a single and going, that's it.
Yeah.
You want more, there's something that kind of goes along with that. Yeah. So I support that for sure. I think that's a really interesting approach.
And also the album thing is something I'm terrified to do.
It's a lot.
I just don't want to, I don't want to put out 12 songs and I'm not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the same sense that people argue, put out singles because no one wants to.
Yeah. Like I said,
the album will get overlooked.
Albums more for me, like I said, I know it's not a common approach. And also it can be a lot, especially with, I think, where you're trying to move as far as the performance goes.
Yeah.
I think it would be good to especially put stuff out in the beginning, see how it rolls, see how it works with the stage stuff. And then as you move forward, you can kind of redesign what you put together from there instead of starting. Because it sounds like you're trying to redesign that experience.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
And I think it's
as much as we can.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's,
we don't have fog machines yet.
Yeah, okay? Do what you have. Yeah. Most venues have fog machines.
Fog cannons as well.
Oh,
that shit. Have you seen that? So sick.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
I'm sure Amazon has.
I mean, the geysers aren't that expensive.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, well, there's a particular one's called the Geyser. It's not like the best one, but it's a good enough one.
Yeah, obtainable.
Yeah. You could definitely you can get one of them.
The Spirit airline of fog machine.
You know, whatever's right above Spirit. Was it Delta? I think
Delta. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You know, they're not great, but they're not terrible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Delta. I don't actually know if you're the low end Delta airline. I only fly Alaska.
Yeah,
I'm all Alaska, baby.
Yeah,
you know what it is. That's how it's done. Alaska Airlines, thanks for taking care of me.
Yep, there you go.
Hell yeah. All right, now I think we've kind of gone through these like quite a bit, but what are, just before we move on to the next points, what are some things you would like to leave for the people who are going to, you know, kind of miss you putting out new music and seeing you perform for a little bit? What are some things they can be excited about?
Just a better product, I think, from the listening experience to to the live performance as well. I think in particular, I've had a lot of people mention that they wish certain songs sounded on record how I do them live. And when I do them live, I have either a backing band or live drums. Huge goal for this new EP is like actual live drums.
Okay.
A lot of I'm hoping that when it comes to actually sitting down and recording, that I'm thinking of the live performance, that I'm belting out those big notes, those big moves, you know, so that way it doesn't feel as empty if someone saw it live and went to the... So I think that's something they could be excited about.
Gotcha.
You know? Yeah.
Do you think maybe you'll approach it where you'll write all the songs, perform them for a little bit as like a practiced element, and then go and record them versus like coming up with one and then immediately go into the studio and putting it down?
They're almost all done, written-wise.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm actually hopefully going the day after Christmas. Shout out G. Clark. Previously from Kin Crew, that's my boy. Settle for Heaven tour, he was on that. Little Canadian folks up there. Hopefully going to be going out to Canada on the 26th to start the recording process with him.
Exciting. Okay, so you're just jumping right into it.
Yes. And shout out to Wavy. He has been my like right-hand man in the demoing process of this, where literally like I'll be like, hey man, this is where I need you, this is what we need to do. And just without question, he will be there and record me, and it's like one of the most loyal people I've ever met, and also the kindest people, you know. So he's the fucking best. Shout out Wavy. So thanks to him, I was able to get a lot of the demoing process out of the way. Now it's kind of bringing that framework to G and seeing what we can do with it. That'll be like the next step.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely looking forward to that. But before we move out of the artist focus portion, we have one last question in it. And this is one I ask everybody. It's definitely one of the densest questions in the interview.
Okay.
But, you know, I mean, this whole conversation is about, you know, like the things that are happening with music, what we do, what happens because of it, all of the, you know, the actions and the reactions. But especially now that you've done so much with it, what is it about music that gives back to you when it's just like you and the music alone?
Like as a listener?
I mean, just, you know, it can be as a writer. It can be just like your experience with music. What does it give back to you?
Release. Feeling heard. Being able to relate to things, and kind of like being reassured that I'm not alone. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
the
that's
community aspect, the connection.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And also feeling like I have something unique to give and something unique to be understood and received, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that makes perfect sense.
Not everyone in the world gets it, you know? Yeah. And so it feels special.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And we may have run through these before, but these answers are always off the cuff.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
We're going to get right into it with the first one. If you could work with any one person who's currently alive, who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Probably Jesse Rutherford. Mostly known for being the vocalist of The Neighborhood. it's been a lot of correlations as I've gotten into music and just like watched it. It's the parallel, like it's really cool. It's really, really cool. Like he was in a punk straight edge hardcore band. He had like straight edge tattoos, and then he was like in a melodic hardcore band called Caligula. And I have just like always admired and loved his sound and approach. And I just feel like he would like me. I feel like genuinely we'd make really good music together. So that's the one I'm like aiming for.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all know what to do. Add them in the comments.
Yeah, please.
And then subsequently, and I think this one might be a little harder to answer, but who's a local artist that you're aware of, they're on your radar, but you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
That was tough for me. You knew it was tough when you asked it. You knew.
Yep.
Shit, dude. Oh, man. Like I don't know, because there's people that I have connected with, like played shows with, but I still like want to make a song with them, and I haven't been able to do that yet.
Okay, let's go that route then.
I'm so sorry if I pronounce this wrong. Kaya Noel.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.
Love
cool.
to make music with them. 1,000%.
That would be a really interesting experience for sure.
I would really, really love melodic stuff, and I think that her grasp on like being able to be like ambient with it as well.
To
and
be honest, she is definitely one of my like favorite vocalists in this area.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think just first of all, shout out Kaya Noel.
Yeah.
I think just the way she approaches music is just so, it's got this extra something to it.
And she also has the fucking theatrical shit down too.
Yeah,
like,
she is definitely a performer.
Telephone, sure. Like that shit is so cool. And the spoken word, like all of that, it's phenomenal. But I genuinely believe that like, and that's just like one that pops to mind. But like,
I know there's a million.
That one has been on my mind for probably like a year now. I mean, it had to have been. It's like from the first time I saw them perform. Mm-hmm. I was like, I think her and I would make something really beautiful. And so, yeah, that's like,
hell yeah, I support that 100%. Yeah. Hell yeah. All right, and then for this next one, literally sky's the limits. And like I said, I'm pretty sure I've asked it before, but it could change now.
Okay.
If you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access, building stability, power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show, everything would go right. And it doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere.
Okay.
Where would you want to perform?
Drake's Trophy Room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just anywhere in his mansion.
Yeah.
Pretty lit. I think it'd be really sick. I love a good house show. I want a good mansion show.
That would be the mansion show for sure. Hell yeah. All right. And then to wrap it all up, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have just put out an album yesterday, they could have never put out an album ever. Okay. Who would you want an album from?
If all of them were alive, the original, everyone knows what I'm going to say. The original lineup of Slipknot, okay? The original members, all of them alive. That would be sick.
Would you want it from like them at their prime in that time, or would you want from one now?
That's tough. Definitely not now.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to be honest, the other day or on a previous episode, I was like, man, I would love some like 2004 Biggie.
Yeah.
Like,
you
know what I mean? Like that particular time.
I think like if they had another, the throwaways that didn't make Subliminal Verses after Iowa, I'm sure there's some gnarly shit.
Oh, yeah.
I think if they would have tapped in, if I could pick that,
hell yeah.
Like go back, rewrite those songs, making an album, that transitional period, that would be amazing.
Hell yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. I mean, you've already pretty much said all of it, but let's concise it right here. What can we look forward to when can we look forward to you coming back, I guess is the better answer.
I'm telling myself 6 months.
Okay.
Maybe before that. I kind of hope it's not. I want to.
Yeah, you want to have that time.
I want to figure shit out.
Yeah.
But yeah, new EP, new performances, new tours, new merch, all that, all that fun stuff you can look forward to. Hopefully some new collabs as well. Yeah.
Well, definitely looking forward to all of that. For this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
I am Lord with the letter X, Lawrence, on pretty much everything. Instagram, that's the best way to reach me. TikTok, X, Threads, YouTube, you name it, I got it. But I use Instagram. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Shout out to my beautiful two perfect kids, Onyx and Haley. Shout out to my boo. Shout out to my friends. Shout out to Opal Royalty. Shout out to Jimmy Jambox. Shout out to everyone that has been a part of this year in some way, shape, or form. Whether you went to a show, got a shirt, toured with me, helped me fill up my tour van, whatever it was.
The first live performance on their video platform ever.
Come on. Shout out to all y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, now we've got one last question to go.
Okay.
But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Okay.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Again, the holidays might be over, but they're still here. Click the link below. Go get you something. With that being said, the final question. And this one is entirely up to your interpretation. But what is an album that you think not a lot of people do know, but they should know? So think something a little more obscure.
Pentamento's album. I don't remember the name of the album. It is one of my favorite albums of all time, and I think it is so overlooked. I literally listened to it on the way here. Dude, it's got everything. It's going to make you emotional. It's amazing.
Can you give us a song off of it so people can look it up?
Yeah. The Wind, Useless. One in particular, I'm going to look it up. I'm so sorry, guys.
Look it up.
This is the one you're going to want to listen to. It's literally
album name. Then while you're doing
on it right now.
Hell yeah!
Subtle Words is the name of the song. Pentamento. I think it's they're self-titled.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the album art.
Hell yeah.
So it was already on it. Dude, came out in 2013. Come on, dude.
Hell yeah.
You're going to get in your feels. You're going to love it. You're going to get emotional. One part, a violin comes in, but I'm not talking like Yellow Card. It's
like Evanescence.
Yeah, dude. It hits hard.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Glad to have you back.
So happy. So happy we got to do this again and people get to see this wonderful mug.
Oh, yeah. And we'll definitely have to get back again soon on this.
Yes, 100%.
Oh, yeah. This has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Lord Lawrence.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.